everybody. Good to see you. Make sure this works here. Excellent. So when I come to these conferences, it's like, okay, who's this guy Luke and why should we listen to him? So I just want to introduce myself real quickly, explain who I am. I got into the space, I'm a software developer background, and since the late 90s doing websites. I bought my first Bitcoin, it was about 20 bucks a Bitcoin in January 2013. I've been involved in a bunch of different projects, been a validator on blockchains like Steam and Hive. If you Google how did Hive turn into Steam, like that whole drama, I was one of the 20 validators for that. And it's an amazing story of a blockchain being taken over and a community trying to take it back. And as part of that also, I helped launch EOS with EOS DAC. We were building DAC enablers. I was very passionate about on-chain governance, improving the world through governance. And then I got involved in the FIO protocol. Hopefully you've seen our booth back there. Pretty proud of the booth we got going since 2018. I started as a consultant, eventually became managing director. And through all that, eventually I kind of took a break for a couple years, hanging out with my family. This is me tow foiling in Chicama, Peru. I live in Puerto Rico with my wife and 3 kids, love to wing foil. But then this project came along, this Morpheus project, and it kind of sucked me back in. So that's why I'm here today, and that's what we're going to talk about. So if you take anything away from this talk, hopefully it's these 2 points. What is Morpheus, and what's a MOR20 launch? Morpheus is essentially code, capital, compute, and smart agent marketplace for anything related to AI. So anything you're doing, which really is going to be everything you're doing, is going to touch AI in some way. You could potentially use Morpheus. And then the MOR20, we basically did a fair launch that was so incredibly successful that we realized, oh man, everyone's going to want to do this. We need to make this available for everyone. So it's the best way to launch a token, in my opinion, today. You can create recurring revenue for your project, and you can have liquidity on day 1 of your token launch, which is pretty exciting. So if you're like me, you come to these talks, like I said, I've been in this space for 12 years now, and sometimes you kind of just tune out and you get out your phone and you start, what is this guy talking about? And you just go right to the website. Feel free to do that. I'll make it easy. It's more.org. So if you want to tune me out, you want to check out what's going on, do that as well. And I also want to show this one, morelord.com. That gets into a little bit of the weeds of the tokenomics, the yield, what you can do, and this is a version of what the MOR20 launch idea does for you. So I want you to check that out as well. So AI, it's different. Hopefully most of you understand that. It's different this time. This is going to change everything. This is not like the agricultural, change into the Industrial Revolution where 80% of the jobs went away and everyone just found new jobs. All the jobs are going away. I was very concerned about this even before I got into blockchain. I read Nick Bostrom's Superintelligence, and I'm reading, and he's like, this is what's going to happen. I'm freaking out. And he's like, oh, well, we can fix it this way. I'm like, oh, good, we're safe. And he's like, but here's why that won't work. I'm like, oh, it's very scary. I've read all the less wrong stuff, all the different doomers have been interviewed and stuff, and it's very, very concerning. And a lot of the people that were early on Bitcoin, recognizing the importance for peer-to-peer digital cash, this decentralization of money getting away from central bank control and government control, they started seeing AI in a similar light. And that's very important. Like the internet, there's a lot of people planned, like, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Microsoft, Oracle, Sun Microsystems had a plan for the internet, but what won? Open source. Same thing with AI. I believe open source is going to win, decentralization is going to win. And it's super important because everything you do, everything my 3 kids are going to do is going to be impacted by these AI tools. It's going to replace everything. Personal agents are going to be super important. So instead of being concerned about how this is going to hurt us, this is the WAGMI conference. We're all going to make it. Let's start thinking about what we can do. There's a great book, Towards a Zero Marginal Cost Society. Highly recommend you read that and figure out how automation and AI and decentralization is going to impact the world. So what is Morpheus? Why does it matter? It's a peer-to-peer network for general purpose AI powered by the MOR token. It's private, open source, self-sovereign, uncensored. It started as an anonymous white paper, very similar to Bitcoin. Morpheus, Neo, and Trinity published a white paper. A bunch of people came together and started building it. There's no company, no foundation, no DAO. There's not even a team. There's just open source contributors, which leads to something called atomic governance, which, as I said, I've been really involved in governance, and I've seen a lot of DAO failures. I've been involved in DAO failures. People vote to extract wealth without creating value, and it's a problem. But in this model, basically, the core people that are contributing are kind of like benevolent dictators. As long as they're doing a really good job and they're making really good decisions for the whole community, they keep doing so. The second they don't, like any open source project, you can fork the repo and do a better job. So it's been very effective so far. I'm pretty excited about it. And the important thing, again, is it's going to provide unrestricted access to free intelligence. When you think about it, if you're in a totalitarian regime and there's some model that says something horrible about our dear leader, they're going to shut that down and say, you can't host that model. Or let's say you let go of some of your team members and you're coming in and saying, hey, we really want to start using these AI tools. We don't need these people anymore. Let's use this AI and this AI and this AI. And you're excited, you're starting to increase your revenue, everything's going great. Until you're like, open the pod bay doors, Hal. I'm sorry, Dave, I can't do that. And still it starts rejecting certain things for being politically incorrect. If you've used ChatGPT or any of these, you probably experienced this. Maybe you're like, hey, how can I improve intimacy with my wife? Oh, that's a sexual question. We can't talk about that. What if it's important to me and I want to know about it, right? Anything along those lines that they deem to be politically incorrect, inappropriate for your culture, society, whatever it might be, the AI might restrict you, and that's a serious problem. If that is the way you're going to feed your kids, is accessing these tools and having access to intelligence, so it's super important. Unrestricted access, and again the MOR20 Fair Launch model, which you can use for your project. If you're planning on launching a project with a token in this bull market, please pay attention. This could be change everything about your plans, because I think it's that important. We are a compute aggregation layer, so oftentimes people ask me, like, what about this other project and that other project? Are you like Akash? Are you like these guys? Are you like that guys? Are they your competitors? I'm like, no, we're like a permissionless system. Everyone can use us. We're kind of closing the loop through the whole system. If you want to run a smart agent AI project, well, you need compute. So first we have a compute aggregation layer. It's a peer-to-peer decentralized network for offering up compute. We're using Lumeran's network. If you've ever seen Lumeran right now, you can use it as a peer-to-peer anonymous way to buy Bitcoin hashing. They took that code, they modified it, and made it available for hosting inference, essentially. Hosting models, hosting AI smart agents. And we're using that same technology, working with all these partners. We're also a smart agent aggregation layer. So in that marketplace, you can also say, hey, I like that project, that smart agent is cool. I'm gonna stake my Morpheus tokens to that project. They can then earn from the reward system of the tokenomics and use those tokens to get the inference they need from hosting. And then I'll get back to the MOR20, how the capital contribution makes all of that work as well. So if you've been involved in other crypto projects, you probably got paid in some token, as did everyone else involved in the project, and so everyone's selling the token to pay their rent and pay their mortgage, and the token just goes down in price, and the project eventually ends because no one's incentivized to keep working. This solves that with the MOR20 model, which we'll get to. So the way Morpheus did this, so this is an example of MOR20, is we created 4 buckets. Actually 5, but 4 buckets. 24% goes to builders, 24% goes to capital, 24% goes to code, and 24% goes to compute. People providing like ASIC farms, providing the inference. And then 4% goes to what we call a legal protection fund. So that's where the smart contract audits were paid for if there's any problem in the community. And over $500 million in Ethereum got staked to Lido. Those rewards then got pushed to the Morpheus contract as they take those STE and restake them to Morpheus. And then from that, they're earning their Morpheus tokens. That's what they call the techno-capital machine of the MOR20 model. So if you've got a project and you say, hey, keep your money. We don't want your principal. All you need to do is stake your Ethereum to Lido. Take those rewards. You would be earning 3%, but now you can earn much more than that, maybe 7 to 10 to 15%, and earn the Morpheus token. So it's a pretty exciting way that this whole thing works. So who's involved? When I talk to a lot of people when they think about, okay, we want to do this one project, we need to raise millions of dollars, I'm like, what? What are you going to do with $1 million? Well, we're going to hire these guys and these guys and these guys. And what they often don't realize is, you can't hire the best people. They're not available. They're already doing really cool stuff. They don't have time for your thing. So how do you attract the really cool people? How do you get someone like David Johnson? If you've ever heard the term DApp, he invented that. If you've ever heard the Johnston Law, everything that will be tokenized and everything that will be decentralized will be. Eric Voorhees, Jeff McDonald, Ryan Condren. If you heard of Venice.ai, Eric's project, that's deeply involved with Morpheus from the very beginning. Brian Bourgerie and many anons that are incredible but don't put their name out there. These people are too busy to hire. So how do you get them involved in your project? Well, hopefully you create a project that's so awesome that people come along and say, you know what? I want to earn that token and I want to be involved in that. And then the next part of the MOR20 and how this comes together is those rewards that I can earn either through contributing capital, either through contributing code, either through hosting a model through the compute layer, or through a builder project, a smart agent that I built and put on there, and I'm earning tokens according to issuance. Just like Bitcoin has every 10 minutes, Bitcoin block rewards are just going out. In Morpheus, it's happening constantly. Every single moment, every block, there's Bitcoin, or there's Morpheus tokens being issued. And every day, those go down. It's on like a 16-year curve that's decreasing. So in order to get these tokens, you kind of have to participate. And it's kind of like this gamified battle, similar to the Bitcoin hashing rate. And you're sitting there going, I want to earn more Bitcoin. Well, how do you do that? We need bigger ASICs. We need to put more power and more mining. So the kind of equivalence, the way this design was done is like, let's take the one thing that worked really well, Bitcoin, and let's replicate it as best we can. So the analogy to Bitcoin hash rate is your time preference. Let's say in my case, it says here on the bottom, I didn't own Ethereum prior to this project. For other reasons, I got out of it. I got a bunch of Ethereum just for this because I wanted to earn some Morpheus tokens. And again, no team, no company. I'm just a community member. I paid my way to get here because I want to talk about this. I think it's important. And so I staked for 6 years.
That's how I can increase my hash rate, in a sense. My time preference is my hash rate. I took my Ethereum rewards and said, you know what? I'm not going to see these Morpheus tokens until 2030. Why did I do that, right? Because I remember buying a TV on Overstock with my Bitcoin. I remember going to GYFT and buying gift cards to buy stuff on Amazon. I remember when Bitcoin was like $1,100, I could have paid off my house. I didn't, it crashed to $250. Went back to around $800, $900, talked to my wife, paid off the house. Wish I hadn't. Went to 19,000 right after that, right? So I know what it's like to sell your Bitcoin and regret it. And a lot of the people that are involved in this project know that feeling as well. The average staking time I looked today is like 3-something years. In the code bucket, it's 4 years. What that means is people are contributing code to this project and they're like, you know what, don't pay me for 4 years. I'd rather have the token 4 years from now. I don't want to sell it right now. It's going to be worth more in the future. That to me is super exciting. And this model is very flexible. The example I gave with the code, capital, compute buckets, you could design yours however you want. I don't have a slide for it, but there's a project called Nounspace. They're doing a Farcaster client. They use the MOR20 launch protocol, and they have a DAO, they have a team. So they have a bucket that goes to the DAO. They have a bucket that goes to the community, so they can do tipping on their Farcaster client. So you can design it however you want. And the key principle, again, is that your principal money is not at risk, other than the smart contract risk, which again, we have over 7 different audits already processed through $500 million. There's a lot of trust that's already been demonstrated by the market. And you just stake your ETH to Lido. And you can earn these tokens, you can stake them for as long as you feel you want to. And to me, it's like legally compliant in ways I have never seen before, because there's no commingling of funds, there's no group of people working on someone else's behalf. It's your money that you stake to earn you a reward. It's a pretty incredible way to go. These are some of the examples. If you went to more.org, you probably saw these. If you go over to the Explorer tab, all of this stuff is on chain, so you can kind of gamify your situation, saying, okay, how long am I going to stake? How long are other people staking? How many people are staking and unstaking? This is a little bit out of date. I think I checked it this morning and it said 75%, but this says 89% were staked. So you can even look at like who's staking, who's not staking, who's unstaking, all that kind of stuff. And it's just pretty exciting because it's like gamifying. There's so many decisions that the different contributors to Morpheus are making. They're not based on their own opinion. They're just like, let's just put it out there and let the market decide. Whatever the market wants to do, that's what's going to happen. This is an example of the commits over time. This again is the people that you can't hire but you want working on your project. How do you get them excited about it as well? You get them to do something that they think is going to be interesting 4, 5, 6 years from now. Or you work on a project like AI that they think is super important. Many people believe that AI is the last invention humans will ever create. And you can think about that. I just heard it's true. You can think about it. That either means because we're going to destroy ourselves, let's hope not, let's WAGMI, or maybe we'll transcend into some other thing and travel the stars for thousands of years. That would be pretty cool too. So Morpheus works with everyone, as I mentioned earlier. There's a lot of AI projects out there. I mean, AI meme coins, all this stuff is all the rage. Everyone's super excited about it. And we can work, we accept it all. And there's no permission. And this is one of the most confusing things with working with Morpheus. People's like, okay, how do I set up a call? Who do I get permission from? It's like, it's all on chain. They're like, there's the GitHub, just do a pull request, do whatever you want. Just submit your compute, just submit your builder bucket, do what you want. It's all out there, and I'm available to help you navigate all that craziness if you want to. It is a peer-to-peer system, anonymous marketplace, kind of works with anything. So if you're doing something in another place, I can talk to you with questions later, but if you're doing stuff in another place, you can do it here too. So if you're already making money, you've built some cool little agent that you want to have the world use, throw it up in the builders, and then people will stake their Morpheus to it, get them to vote essentially for your project because I think it's cool, and you'll be earning Morpheus tokens for that. And so again, if you're doing anything in the AI space whatsoever, please check out Morpheus. If you're thinking about launching your own project with a token, please check out the MOR20 model. We have a whole factory that makes it easy. Again, the dashboard for staking, all the different smart contracts, all of that is open source. Everything we've done is open source. You can just use it right now. And it's pretty exciting. These are the different eras. We started in 2023, 2024. In the beginning, we did the first 3-month fair launch where the token kind of got its first value. That's where a lot of money was coming in. The rewards for compute went live as well at the end of last year. We're now into the Metropolis phase. As of last week, the Builder Bucket just went live. So that's where they have the smart agents. We're going to now have Morpheus spread across all the chains. Right now we're on Ethereum, Arbitrum, and Base. We're getting income coming from Lido staking, but eventually it's going to have Coinbase staking and many other forms of staking as well. And then in the future, you're going to have your own smart agent. It's web-enabled. It can do stuff on your behalf. Pretty freaking exciting. Design is the thing I'm waiting for. I'm going to train it on myself and have it do all kinds of stuff that only I would do. I think that's going to be pretty fun. That's basically it. How can you get involved? Check out more.org, join the Discord. We're at Morpheus AI on X. We're on GitHub, Morpheus AIs. We also are on YouTube as Morpheus Intern. Again, my name is Luke Stokes. I'll be at the FIO booth if you have any questions. And thank you so much for listening. Hope you have a great day.
All right, thank you very much.